We're going to learn Perek Beis Mishnah Vav. This Mishnah has two parts, which are two arguments between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim. The first part of the Mishnah will discuss what is the minimum amount of meals that a person has to eat in a sukkah. Since we learned previously that a person is allowed to eat a snack outside of a sukkah, maybe a person can go the entire Yom Tif, which in Eretz Yisrael is 7 days, and during those days only eat snacks and never be required to eat in the sukkah. So says the first opinion, Rabbi Eliezer says that every single meal a person has to eat in the sukkah. And since in the times of the Mishnayos, people used to eat a minimum of 2 meals, one in the daytime and one in the nighttime, and we know that during those 7 days, one of those days are Shabbos, where a person has to eat 3 meals, then a person has to eat all of those 15 meals inside of a sukkah. The Mishnah is going to say, the Rabbi Eliezer says he has to eat 14 meals because Rabbi Eliezer is not counting in his calculation the first night of Sukkot. Now the second opinion, the Chachamim argue, and they say that just like on Pesach, you only have to eat matzah on the first night of Pesach, so too on Sukkot, you only have to eat in the sukkah during the first night. And after the first night, if a person wants, he can choose to only eat and drink snacks and not eat and drink in the sukkah. Now the second part of the Mishnah will discuss what happens if a person missed one of those meals. Is there tashlumin? Is there an idea of compensation where in the future a person can make up that missed meal? So the first opinion, Rabbi Eliezer says that any meal that he missed during Sukkot, he can make up on the night right after Sukkot, which is the night of Shmini Atzeres. All that he has to do is during that meal to eat something extra, like some extra meat or extra potatoes, and that extra food will compensate any meal that he missed. However, the second opinion, the Chachamim argue and say that he is not able to compensate and make up the first meal, which according to the Chachamim is the only requirement that they have to eat in the sukkah. And the Chachamim quote the pasuk in Koheles, which says that regarding this mitzvah we say that it is a me'uvas, a crooked thing that lo yuchal liskain, it cannot be fixed. V'chesrain, and that which is missing, lo yuchal lehimanois, cannot be counted. That when a person misses the first meal of Sukkot and they don't eat it inside of a sukkah, then that is crooked and that is missing, and there is nothing that they can do in the future to make it up and compensate for it. We are now going to read the Mishnah inside. Says the first part of the Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer says, Arba esrei seudais, 14 meals, which is excluding the first meal of the first night. So in total, 15 meals. Chayav adam lechel besukkah, a person must eat in the sukkah. Achas bayom v'achas balayla, one in the daytime and one in the nighttime. The second opinion of Chachamim, and the Chachamim say that ein ladavar kitzva, there's no set amount for the thing, chutz except milele, for the nights of Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, the first Yom Tov of Sukkot, you only have to eat in the sukkah on the first night of Sukkot. Just like on Pesach, you only have to eat matzah on the first night. Now the second part of the Mishnah, V'oid Amar Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Eliezer said more, that Mi Shelo Yachal, one who did not eat during Leile Yom Tov Harishon, the night of the first Yom Tov, or any of the other 14 meals throughout Sukkot, then Yashlim should complete and compensate the missing meal B'leil Yom Tov Ha'achron, on the nights of the final Yom Tif, meaning the night of Shmini Atzeres, which is the first night right after Sukkot. Now the second opinion of Chachamim, and the Chachamim say, Ein ladavar tashlumin, there is no completion for the thing. If a person missed the first meal on Sukkot, they cannot make it up. And al zeh nemar, about this it says in a pasuk in Koheles, that me'uvas, a crooked thing, lo yuchal liskan, cannot be fixed, v'chesrain, and that which is missing, lo yuchal lihimanes, cannot be counted. Something that's crooked and something which is missing, which is when they miss the opportunity of the positive mitzvah of eating in the sukkah on the first night, there is nothing that they can do in the future to make that up.